Mm. All right. Hello, this is Nicole Whitlock, and this is the weekly ecom planning session where we're going to plan out our success for the week. So, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I'm here for you. You'll be given the opportunity to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. So, with that, today's topic, we're going to go through the topic first, which is eBay versus Mercari. Then, after we go through the topic, we're going to cover the weekly ecom planning session or the weekly ecom planning suggestions. So, if you have an e-commerce planner, go ahead and pull that out. If you don't have one, you can grab one by going to myecomplanner.com. And if you don't have that, just get a notebook and pen so you're ready to rock and roll. So, before we get into eBay versus Mercari, we are live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So after we go through both the eBay versus Mercari and after we go through the weekly ecom planning checklist, if you want to talk about your business, if you want to discuss um, anything, if you want to talk about any of the platforms, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Shopify, whatever, you can definitely join us over on Clubhouse. We can continue the conversation and take a deeper dive into your business and whatever topic you're interested in talking about. So with that, you can download the weekly ecom planning checklist by going to the e-commerce planning Facebook group, clicking on the menu option and selecting files. Then after you select files, go ahead and download the weekly ecom planning checklist, the weekly planning activities list. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and download the daily and the monthly, just to go ahead and knock that out. So today's topic is eBay versus Mercari, two different platforms, but there are some similarities between the platforms. So let's talk about it. Both of them have mobile apps, but Mercari is mostly a mobile app, whereas eBay, you can go to their website and actually buy items from there. I've never really searched items online. For Mercari, I've always searched things through my mobile app. So, you will go to the app store, you will download an app for eBay, and you can download the app for Mercari. Both of them allow you to create listings via the mobile app. So again, both of them will let you do that. eBay is going to be way more involved when it comes to creating that mobile app listing versus Mercari. Mercari is going to be much easier to create that app listing. So if you're a person, you're taking pictures of your products or whatever it is you want to sell, things you want to resell from around your house, take that picture, you can list them much faster on Mercari than you can on eBay, because eBay is going to be looking for, depending on what the product is and which category it's going in, some item specifics. So there's some differences there. If you want to take that eBay listing, you want to list it from the computer versus the phone, then because eBay does have more fields, it's going to be maybe a little bit easier, but eBay's listing process is a little more involved. eBay does have a bigger audience than Mercari does. But again, both of them, we're talking about people who are looking for a bargain or a deal. So both eBay and Mercari, their customers are looking for a deal, more so Mercari maybe than eBay. So you want to be mindful of that. So price is going to matter. If you think of Mercari, I mean, sometimes, not always, not always. Sometimes if you think of Mercari as sometimes like an online garage sale, then you'll probably, that idea, you'll be able to stick with that. Versus eBay, like you can build a brand on eBay and you can sign up for a store on eBay and you can customize the look and feel of your store on eBay. So your customers may be going to hunt and find products from their computer, or they could be searching from their mobile device. So there's some very, very high level differences between eBay and Mercari. Now, let's get into the pros of selling on eBay. eBay, they have a large international customer base. They also have a large customer base, period. Um, like I said, you can build a brand on eBay, and you have phone customer service on eBay um, for customers and for sellers. So if they have a question, they can actually reach a live person. And there's no relisting needed on eBay. Like your listings will stay active in most cases until you take them down. You also have auction features on eBay and things like that, so that you can, get more eyeballs on your listing. So no relisting needed. They also have the sell yours button that's on eBay. So again, making it a little bit faster to create your listing. The cons of selling on eBay is, of course, the listing fees and potentially the monthly fees if you sign up for a store. That is going to definitely cut into your profits. So it's going to be more expensive to sell on eBay than it is going to be on Mercari. Potential saturated market. I agree. I mean, depending on what it is you want to sell. And you're definitely going to have to do more uh, flag more keywords on eBay than you do on Mercari because people could be searching from their mobile device or their computer. And so you're going to have to make sure your title stands out so people can find your product much easier. So you're going to have to do a little more keywords in your title and in your description so that your products can be found because it is there's potential for a saturated market. And you have more shipping options on eBay than you do on Mercari. And so those are some of the things. In addition to that, like you can sign up for the eBay Global Shipping Program and ship items that way as well. Now, for Mercari, the pros are the low cost. Like the cost of listing your item and selling your item on eBay is going to be less expensive. It is easier to list. I agree 100%. Both of them, you have privacy protections. Mercari does allow you to have a secure separate chat um, with your customers. You can message your customer on eBay, so you still have that. The Mercari does have easy shipping options, and when I search for things on Mercari, like whatever the thing is, if that's the title you give it, then it makes it so much easier to find for customers. Versus eBay, you're going to have to do a little bit more for your product to be found. Cons of selling on Mercari: buyer scams. So, yeah, if a buyer requests a return, the seller doesn't ask for it to be returned, and then customers can sometimes keep an item and after having received their refund. But it's going to take a little bit more to get your refund from Mercari than it is going to be. Like both of them are going to. I just recently went through a return on eBay. Well, it's not like it's brand new for me, but I just had a return where they said that they shipped it and they said that I received it. I'm like, I didn't receive it. What address did you ship it to? So, yeah, always very interesting to deal with issues on any platform. Slow payments, getting paid, and you do have to set up your payment process so that you can have your funds transferred over to your bank or to a card or whatever. And relisting, you have to do some relisting. So relisting can quickly get lost within the search results, and so especially in high demand categories. So in order for you to have your listing to be seen by more people, you'll have to relist them pretty frequently. Now, both of them, you have the ability to do cross listing if you want. There's cross listing tools out there like List Perfectly and Vendu and some of the others that will allow you to take your listings from either a catalog or from a platform and move it to another platform. You'll just need to tweak the listing for that platform to make sure your title is appropriate for the platform and things like that, and your description. So you decide what your options are for 2023, what you're going to sell. I think that if you have a lot of stuff that you want to get rid of around the house, this is a great time to do some pre-spring cleaning and start listing your items that are around the house that you don't touch, you don't use, you don't see, you haven't picked up, the tags are still on it. to list them on some of these mobile app platforms to get rid of them, so that gives you a little more capital. I can talk today. A little more capital to use to have money to invest into your business. So listing on these platforms, selling your products. I will tell you with Mercari, like both of them, you need to pay attention to the notifications, both of them, and ship your item in a timely manner. Both of them, you'll need to do that. Uh, and both of them, sometimes, like with Mercari, you'll get more requests for, they want to sort of like eBay's make an offer. They'll want to make an offer. I turn off the make an offer feature on eBay because I don't want to babysit a listing. So I turn that off. I mean, I don't even give that option of people to make offers to me. Whereas Mercari, I get offers all the time for stuff. So something else to think about between the two platforms. If you're looking for some money to invest into your business for 2023, then selling on some of these platforms can give you the opportunity to get a little more cash flow that you can invest in other things, like maybe buying a software that's going to help you to be more efficient, hiring a VA, sourcing more inventory, better inventory, maybe your niche inventory. So I hope this information is helpful. You can tune in to the other verses that we've done. We've done Amazon versus Walmart, and we've done Amazon versus Etsy, Amazon versus eBay, Amazon versus Shopify, Etsy versus Shopify. Like we've done a lot of different verses. So we'll hope that you'll continue to tune in as we kind of wrap up some of the verses and go back and listen to the previous series. So with that, we encourage you to turn up the dial on your business and get laser focused. You can grab the My eCom Planner by going to myecomplanner.com, clicking on, and then grabbing the 2023 My eCom Planner. It is the ultimate e-commerce planner. It was created for sellers by sellers. It's got a section where you can start planning out your week specifically. So go grab the My eCom Planner to help you get a leg up on what your game plan is for the week. And if you want to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session, you can go to ecomsellers.com, click on free resources, and schedule a free 20-minute coaching session. Once you do that, we'll be able to connect and talk about whatever your topic is, whether it's looking at your game plan for 2023, whether it's putting together a strategy or a game plan or approach for your platform that you want to sell on, or talking about your niche, doing some product research, coming up with some other sourcing ideas. Whatever it happens to be for 2023, you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session, and let's talk about it. Let's put together a game plan. And for most of the people that I've met with this year so far, I've actually sent them their own personal, like, here's your game plan. It's about anywhere from 10 to 20 bullets, depending on what it is that we talk about, so that way that can help you to get started and to gain some traction on your business and your game plan. And then if you need some support along the journey, you can join eCom Sellers Academy at ecomsellersacademy.com. It's terribly affordable. You'll get free retail arbitrage, online arbitrage leads list. You'll get a free wholesale list. You get live weekly trainings, live weekly Q&A, access to a library of over 200 training videos, and opportunity to continue to get better at what it is you want to get better at, depending on the platform and the niche in 2023. So go and join ecomsellersacademy.com right now. So now we're ready to go through the checklist. Before we get into the checklist, if you didn't already grab a notebook, go grab a notebook. If you don't have your eCom planner, go drag it out. Let's turn to the pages for next week, or turn to the planning section of the eCom planner. And then afterwards, we can continue the conversation on Clubhouse, so that if you want to do an accountability check-in, you just want to talk about your business, you want to discuss the verses or any of the prior verses that we've done, definitely join us on Clubhouse, and let's continue the conversation. Let's chat about whatever the topic is that you want to talk about. So with that, we're going to get into the weekly planning checklist. Dun, dun, dun. So in the weekly planning checklist, if you've already filled out the weekly template and you are pretty organized, you have a game plan every single week, and that game plan is serving you well when it comes to your business, your productivity, your profitability, then if you've got something that's working, stick with it. What you may want to do is just determine what your priorities are going to be for the week based on what you defined as your top goals for the month. So this will be the third full week in January. So we're at the halfway mark that we're planning for. Let's think about this, because you don't want to let January get away from you and not really have a game plan for the year. This is your opportunity to sit down and figure out what you want to do, where you want to go with your business in 2023. So definitely consider going ahead and putting together your game plan for next week, your game plan for success. So for those of you that have already built a template, then definitely pull out that template and decide what it is you want to focus on and invest your energy in 2023. And also next week. So when we talk about what you want to invest your time and energy in, this is what those who have already created their schedule, because the first thing we are going to do is build a template. Then after we build a template, then we're going to do what is the actual activity we're going to engage in based off of the template. So the template is sort of a guide that says, hey, these are the things that I think are important. I think that creating listings are important. So I'm going to make sure that I have that as an activity I do every single week. I think that sourcing is important. So that's an activity I'm going to do every week. I think that product research is important. And so that's an activity I'm going to do every single week. I think that fulfilling orders, or going through customer fulfillment, whether it be me shipping it myself or double checking to make sure my supplier has already shipped it out to my customer. I think those are all important things. So you have these blocks of activities that you think are important in your business, and you've put them in a specific order when it comes to your schedule based on your template. That is, starting with the template. Now, after you build the template, you're going to go into what is the actual activity I'm going to do for the week. So when we talk about the actuals, we're going to say, if I say that I'm going to be doing listing, what are the types of listing I'm going to be creating next week? What are the exact types of listings? What listings am I going to create on Monday? Maybe I'm going to create my Valentine's Day listings on Monday. And then Tuesday, I'm going to create my St. Patty's Day listings. And Wednesday, I'm going to create my Super Bowl listings. And Thursday, I'm going to create, what are the listings I'm going to create? And Thursday, I create my bundle listings, and my bundle listings for Valentine's Day. What are those listings? And it doesn't matter what your e-commerce method is, whether you're doing print on demand, whether you're doing retail or online arbitrage, whether you're doing drop shipping, whether you're doing white label. If you're doing private label, then you know exactly what products you're selling. But the point is, you should have a game plan of the activities you're going to engage in every single week in your business, so that you can increase or improve your productivity. You can gain some consistency in your business, so you can start getting consistent results. So that is why we build the schedule. We build the schedule because of that. So for those who don't have a template, let's talk about what your template should look like. So from the building a template, we're going to say what we're going to do next week. So if we don't have that, okay, we got to start there. If you do have it, start filling in what it is you're going to do next week. And don't overlook the things that are personal, things that are happening in your household or happening in your personal life, or maybe your job. Maybe you have to travel for your job, whatever it happens to be. Make sure it's an inclusive schedule where it makes sense based on your level of focus and concentration and productivity. If you're not that focused and you don't concentrate that much, then maybe you need a more detailed schedule so that you can account for where you're spending your time. If you're a person that's really consistent and you've been that way for a while, for many years, and you're really good at staying on track, you don't get distracted easily, and you have to be honest with yourself. What is your productivity level? If you are that way 50% of the time, then putting a detailed schedule together won't hurt you. If you're that way 95% of the time and people are like, ooh, you always stay on top of your schedule, and you always get a lot of stuff done, then maybe just putting together your top 5 for each day next week may make more sense, since you've already got an established, well-defined routine that's actually working for you and serving your life and your business well. So you have to decide where you fall. Are you that person that has a hard time staying on track. You can't figure out what you did for the week. You don't even know what you did for the first 2 weeks in January. Or are you that person that sometimes you're on track and sometimes you fall off the wagon, and maybe just putting together a game plan that's a little more detailed for next week would actually serve you well? Or are you a person that is really good at sticking to routines? You have an established process that's been working for you for years, and you're, you just want to write down your top 5. You decide which one works for you. So for those who need to build a template, and for those that need to get more focused and consistent, we're going to start with the template. The template is inside of my eCom planner. It's also, you can also build it either in a notebook, or you can create a Google spreadsheet. Any of those will work. If you're going to do a notebook, you're going to need about 4 pages, 5 pages. You're going to need 5 pages. If you're going to use Google Sheets, you can log into your Gmail account. Once you log into your Gmail account, you can click on the 9 dots that are grouped together. I call it the Rubik's Cube. But anyway, you can click on the 9 dots in the upper right-hand corner. And then once you do that, click on the triangle that says Drive. Everyone, if you have a Gmail account, you automatically have a Google Drive, no matter what. So once you click on the triangle, it'll open up Google Drive in a new window. You're going to go over to the plus sign that is now on the left-hand side. It is a multicolored plus in the upper left-hand side. You're going to click on that. Click on the green spreadsheets. It's going to look just like an Excel spreadsheet, very similar in functionality and features. So you're going to choose the spreadsheet. It's going to launch a green spreadsheet in a new window. And now you will have a spreadsheet that you can work with. So what are we putting in our notebook, and what are we putting in our spreadsheet? So in our notebook, we're going to have our first 3 pages are things that we either already do. So that's 1 page by itself. And you're just going to do a brain dump of those things that you already do, or things that you do in your life, and which day of the week you do them, and what time do you already do them. And these are things that are serving you well, or things that you're not willing to move or change. An example might be maybe going to church every Sunday is something that you want to keep in your life. You already, it serves you well. It helps you to remain balanced throughout the week. And so that's a time that is dedicated and committed to you going to church. That's something you already do. Maybe you work out every single morning. That's something you already do. And you're doing it fairly consistently, or we'll talk about things you want to do in a minute, but it's something that you already do and you have committed time. You're not willing to move it. Or maybe your child is in piano, and so you take them to piano recitals or piano practice every Wednesday at a specific time, 6:00. And so that's something you already do. You're not going to schedule any other activity at 6:00 because it's something you already do. Same thing with your business. Look at the things that you already do in your business and that you're very consistent about. So if you already list every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 1:00, and it's been serving you well, and you don't want to move it, then write that down. 1:00, I list Monday through Friday. If you have a job, okay, your job is fairly inflexible. And if it's a consistent schedule, not a rotating schedule job, then, or a flexible schedule job. So if you go to work every single day from 8 to 5, then again, that's time that you really can't do a lot of other things, maybe on your lunch hour, but you can't do a lot of other things. And so these are things you already do. So think about the things you already do. Okay. Then, so that's what goes on page 1. And then with your spreadsheet, if you're using a Google Sheet, that's column 1A. You're going to label that already do. And then column B1 and C1, you're going to put the day of the week in which you do it and the time. Okay. So A, B, and C, you're going to use those columns for things you already do that you're not willing to move or change in any kind of way. Then you have the next columns or the next sheet. So you can turn the page, the next sheet. These are things you need to do or must do in your business or must do in your life. What are those things that you don't do, or you don't do well, or you do them rather inconsistently, and you need to do them more consistently? So what are the things you need or must do? Things that you need to do if you want to be an e-commerce seller is you got to create listings. If you're not creating listings at all, if they are extremely random, that's something you need to do. That's the only way you're going to make money. You can't make money if listings don't exist. So that's something you need to do. Or must do. If I'll use the example of, this year, maybe you discover you have an allergy. So you need to go get shots. Like maybe you didn't do that in the past because it wasn't a big deal, but you've had a couple of allergic reactions since the beginning of the year. That's something you need to do. That's dedicated time that you need to commit to, going to go take care of your health. So that's a good example of a need to do. If you decide that this year you're going to get a job, and so you're going to go and get a job somewhere, then that's something, and that you're going to be working 8 to 5, or you started a job, maybe you applied and they hired you already, so you're going to be working. So okay, this is something new that you're introducing into your life, so it's going to be something you have to do. You don't have a choice. It's inflexible. So what are those things that you need or must do? Maybe anything that you signed up for. That goes on page 2 of your notebook if you have just a plain notebook, not your ecom planner. And that also goes, if you have the Google spreadsheet, that goes in columns D, E, and F. D is going to be things that you need or must do. And then E and F are going to be the day and the time. Now you're going to leave E and F blank for right now. Just leave them blank. Just start jotting down ideas that come to mind. Then want to do and should do. These are things that you do randomly or haphazardly. You do them, but you're not as consistent as you would like to be. So maybe you do create listings, and maybe you create listings 3 days a week, rather randomly. You really don't have a set day in which you do it, and you don't always have a set time, but you do create listings 3 days a week, and you really want to get up to 5, and you really want to be much more consistent than you are today. Then that's what goes under the want or should be. So page 3 is everything you want or should be doing. And on page 3, you're going to start jotting down all the things that you want or should be doing to be more consistent. So an example, again, might be exercising. Maybe you exercise 2 days a week and you really want to get to 5 days a week. You're very consistent about going 2 days a week, but it's really random and you never have a set time in which you do it. So now you want to get more consistent. So you write that down. Maybe you haven't been balancing your budget once a month. And so, these are things that are once a week. Maybe you need to balance it once a week. And so you're like, okay, I don't know where my money is going, and I really want to get a hold on my money for 2023. So this could be for your personal life and it could be for your business, 2 different sets of balancing the budget to know where your money is going and how much money you are making. So it's something that you do randomly and you're not consistent about it. And so you're like, okay, I want to go from balancing my budget, twice a month to doing it every single week and making sure that I do it at a set time and I'm committed to that time. So these are things you want or should do. So if you're randomly, haphazardly doing some things, but you're fairly consistent, you just want to increase the volume, or you just want to set a committed time in which to do that, and those things go on your want or should do. And that should be G, H, and I, columns G, H, and I on your spreadsheet. So column G will be things that you want or should be doing, and then H and I you will leave blank for right now. So if you're struggling with ideas, I'm going to blurt out some business related ideas. Now, when it comes to your personal stuff, like always include your personal stuff, because you get 24 hours in the day. And in that 24 hours of the day, what are you doing with that time? So since you do get 24 hours in the day, think about that. What are you doing with that time? And figure out what's going to work for you when it comes to that time. Sorry about that. So, you can be thinking about your spiritual. Maybe you want to start reading your Bible more consistently than you do right now. Maybe you do read your Bible, but you're just not consistent, or maybe you're not reading at all. Maybe prayer or meditation in the morning will help improve your life, and maybe journaling. Some people just need to journal. Your personal and or either financial or health and fitness or family and household. Maybe there's some routines you want to establish for your family in 2023 or for yourself. What are those things that you want to implement? Maybe you want to be a little more social with your family and friends. So again, figuring out the personal as part of that, and job and anything like that. And then when it comes to your business, let's go through this list. So sourcing activities, again, these could be things that you put on any of these columns. So either it's something you already do, you need or must do because it's important to keep your business alive, or you want or already do. So figure out where these go. And if they even apply to you based on your e-commerce method or, your approach to your business. So sourcing activities could be doing some advanced planning, anything that's 2 to 20 weeks in advance. More than likely, it's going to be 4 to 20 weeks in advance. But yeah, is it something that you already do? You feel like you need to start doing, and something you don't do right now? Upcoming holidays, events. If you're selling replenishables or consumables, maybe you're doing replenishables, but you just don't source enough. You don't source consistently to be able to make enough money in replenishables, because there is money in that. Wholesale or drop shipping opportunities. Like maybe you're doing wholesale, um, you're purchasing through a wholesale supplier, but you've narrowed it down to just two that you work with, and you feel like I could grow my business if I had more wholesale suppliers. So maybe putting together the discipline in place that you apply or research at least one new wholesale supplier a week. By the end of the year, you'll have 52 wholesale suppliers to choose from. It gives you more flexibility in your business and more potential opportunities. So again, just incremental decisions, incremental choices can change the landscape of your business. Maybe that's something you want to put down. 2023, I want to at least choose one wholesale supplier a week. Okay. 2023, I want to at least make sure that I have 10 replenishable products or 25 replenishable products that I'm sourcing every whatever you pick the day, Friday. Um, Private label or white label opportunities. Maybe you decide in 2023 you want to sell more private label or white label. So again, going through that. Holidays and events. So some of the coaching sessions I did just recently, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and choose. Um, let's put down that in first quarter we're going to source for second quarter, and I want you to go look at the upcoming holidays and events that are coming up in second quarter, so that way you're always a quarter ahead. And that was one of the strategies that I gave. There's two different people that I coached, and I said that's what you need to look at. Let's go look at that. That allows you the opportunity so that you are not 100% focused on what's happening now. Not that we're going to overlook the opportunities in first quarter, but again, if you're trying to establish a routine, make that part of your regular routine. Go catch up on first quarter and go plug those in, maybe in the first week, and then the second week in January, or the third week in January, or fourth week in January, whatever. Then let's start focusing on second quarter. Let's do that. Research. So listing research, product research, keyword research. Is this something you already do, something you need or must do, or something you want or should do? So you want to be more consistent about it. Research, I think, is important. Keyword research is an activity that will help you. Niche research, what is the demand? Figuring out what products people want to buy. That's important. Having that information so you can create really good listings, optimized listings. So again, if a budget is a challenge for you, then you got to get better at your keyword research in 2023. So that could be something that you focus on. So where does it go? Is it something you already do, need to do, or want to do? Listing activities, creating titles and descriptions and images, and making sure that you're doing some research on price and cross-listing on other platforms. Are you doing that? Are you creating videos for your products? Are you, selling your products on other chat platforms, or what are you doing? What is your approach? So again, creating listings is the lifeblood. So if you're challenged with just creating listings, that's something that you must or need to do because that's the only way you're going to make money. People can't buy what they can't find. So creating a listing is vital to you even having a business. Otherwise, it's just a hobby and you just collect stuff that you never list. Just saying. Shipping activities. So are you sending it to a fulfillment center of some type? Are you fulfilling the orders yourself? If they're automated fulfillment, then are you confirming that the products have been shipped? Are you going out there to check it once a day, once a week, once a month? Nothing like getting like 15 or 20 different refund requests because of the fact that you haven't been paying attention, whether or not your provider or vendor said, oh, you didn't have any more on the shelf, or we ran out, or, whatever your method is, or we don't have that size. If you're doing print on demand, drop shipping, we ran out, whatever it happens to be. Are you paying attention to that? Or you just, I create the listings and I move on and I don't pay attention to that stuff. You're running a business. You got to pay attention to that stuff. Admin activities. So, running your platform reports, filing your taxes, doing bank reconciliation, account reconciliation, inventory reconciliation, Balancing your budget, tracking your expenses and your receipts. Are you doing that stuff or you're not doing those things in your business? Ordering inventory, checking your expiration dates, auditing your inventory, creating your standard operating procedures, reviewing, adjusting your prices, analyzing the data, analyzing, reviewing the stats. Like, are these things you're doing or you're not doing them? So where does it fall? I already do these things. I need or must do these things. I do a couple of these things. I should do more of them. And so write that down. Customer service, handling or responding to your customer questions or inquiries, dealing with returns, dealing with refunds, dealing with checking your customer reviews. Are you doing that? Are you not? Are you fairly consistent about it? Are you just letting the platform issue the refund and you don't respond? Like, what's the deal? What's going on? Education. Have you dedicated or committed some time each week to learning? And if so, hopefully you're committing at least an hour or 30 minutes every single week to learn something new. I'm hoping it's not like 6 hours. So you're doing education for 6 hours and then you're working in your business for 2. That is a wrong balance. Don't do that. You should not get sucked into the vortex of learning, and never doing. You have to do. You have to do. So, what's happening with your education? What do you want to do better? What do you want to better understand? What skills or knowledge? What skills do you want to develop? What knowledge do you want to gain? What knowledge do you want to learn? And are you committing time to learning something or getting better at something? The next is marketing and traffic activities. So your marketing and traffic activities, even if you don't have any money to invest, there's some things you can do that cost you little to no money. Sending your listings through Pingler and Ping Farms, you can create more backlinks. Is something you can do, and it doesn't cost you any money. So is that something you're already doing, or is it something you feel like you need to start doing in 2023? Sharing your listings on social media or on blogs, doing optimizing your listings, engaging with influencers, doing video marketing, creating a TikTok of your product, or doing email marketing if you have an email account. There's some free email tools out there. You need to build a customer list in order to email out. But yes, you do have that. So if you have money for paid campaigns, paid ads. You can do coupons, promotions, sales. Are you doing any of those things? So once you've kind of done the brain dump, and I gave you a lot of stuff to think about, next you're going to figure out which day of the week you normally do. Well, the things that you already do, you're just going to write out what you have. And if you feel like that time slot serves you well, from including your personal stuff and your business stuff and anything else in between. So we wear many hats. We could be a coach of Little League, and we could be a mentor to a child, big brothers and big sisters. We could be an usher at the church or whatever, a deacon. We could be a teacher of some type, to others. So we wear so many different hats. I'm the vice president of a nonprofit, and I'm a mom, and I'm a business owner, and I'm a seller. So all of those things are the hats that I wear. So I wear a lot of hats. You probably wear a lot of hats too. Based on your hats, what did you put down, the things that you feel like you need to do, want to do, or need to do, want to do, or already do? What are those things? And make sure it's an inclusive list. Do a really good brain dump. After you've done that, if you don't want to commit to a time for some of the new stuff on your page 2 or page 3, then figure out maybe the best time of day, things that this is something I really want to do in the mornings. I just have to figure out when to do it in the mornings, or this is something that makes more sense for me to do in the afternoons, or this is something that makes more sense for me to do in the evenings. Any of those. So figuring that part out. Also figuring out, if you're a person that does not like a committed time, then you can figure out if you want to do it morning, afternoon, and evening. Sometimes when people have a hard window that they've said, hey, I'm going to do this every single day at 1:00, it sort of freaks them out. If it's 2:00 in the afternoon, they didn't get to do number 1, then, or, do the 1:00, then they are a little anxious. So if creating a timed schedule creates anxiety for you, then just maybe create a time range schedule. And some of the things that you write down are going to become other types of defined goals or um, and so, and I say that, I mean, if one of the activities you want to engage in is creating a listing every single day, you could gradually get up to whatever that goal number is. You got to know what your goal number is, though. So, what's the goal that you ultimately want to get to in 2023? You feel like creating 10 listings 5 days a week will actually change your business and give you the stats that you're looking for long term. And again, you're going to do some product research around that, but if you feel like 10 listings a day is something you're willing to commit no matter what, Monday through Friday, then you may want to, and right now you're just random about it. Maybe you want to create a mini goal. Whereas this week coming up, maybe you want to create 2 listings Monday through Friday. And then the following week, you want to create 4 listings Monday through Friday. And then the week after that, 6, and then 8, and then get up to 10. So it takes you 5 weeks to get up to that 10. And it's a gradual progression of getting to that number. That also allows you the opportunity to gradually create the habit of creating a listing every day, no matter what. Okay. So then you start to become consistent about creating listings. Whereas before, maybe you were only random. Week 1, you were creating it, I don't know, Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. And then week 2, you did some on Tuesday and Saturday. And then week 3, you were like, okay, I created a listing on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Like you're just completely random. Now it gives you an opportunity to establish a routine around it so you can build that habit of consistency. So that would be, creating a mini habit, and maybe some of the things you've written down will become mini habits or mini goals. Habit stacking is more like routines, things that you put them in a specific sequential order and it makes sense. So maybe your process around creating listings is all over the scoreboard and you really are rather random about it and it takes you a long time. You don't understand why it takes you a long time to create listings. Well, you want to look at your process for creating listings and put the things in sequential order that makes sense. If you think of it like making a sandwich, layer it in an order that makes the most sense. First, you got to get all your pieces out. So, if you're a person that likes Miracle Whip or mayo, get the Miracle Whip and mayo, the bread, get the meat, or you're going to have some lettuce and tomato, everything out on the counter. And then the next thing is you start constructing the sandwich. With the bread, you put the mayo or the Miracle Whip on there. Get your knife out and put that on there, and then, and then you layer your food and you put the bread on top of the other pieces, and now you've got a sandwich. So when you look at your routine around creating listings, or when you look at your routine around anything that you're doing in your business or even in your personal life, do you feel like it's organized in such a way that you know what you're supposed to be doing? And are you doing the things in the correct sequential order based on, what's next or the fact that you're in the vicinity? So I'm going to give you an example. Our morning routine and evening routine for my kids is fairly consistent. And so one of the habits that I've had them build is building their lunch the night before. Well, as part of that, they've got to go from upstairs to downstairs. So while we're at it, when we go downstairs, let's grab everything that we're going to need for the morning and bring it all upstairs if it happens to be everywhere. Now, right now, it's not everywhere anymore. It used to be, though. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be putting on shoes and socks in the morning. I'm going to need my backpack in the morning. I'm going to need, any forms that my mom needs to sign, and I need to make sure I put them in my backpack. I'm going to need to pull out my clothes. Like all of the things that I'm going to need to have a successful morning, we think about it the night before. So as they're going downstairs to make their sandwiches, they're eyeballing where everything is so that as they get ready to come upstairs, they make the sandwich, put it in the refrigerator. They've made, pulled out their orange, their chips for tomorrow, their snack bar, whatever. And on the way upstairs, they're bringing everything up that they need to be able to execute that morning routine successfully. Whether it be shoes that are scattered in different places, the jacket in another place, the backpack in another place, the form that I forgot wherever I was doing my homework, all of that gets compiled and put together so that as they wake up in the morning, the clothes are already out. Their backpack is already packed. Their shoes are in one place. The jacket is in one place. So that all they have to do is just go downstairs, get the sandwich, put it into the lunch pail that's already in the backpack, and they're ready to go. It simplifies and streamlines things. So What are things that you're not doing, or maybe you are doing when it comes to your business or your life, that you feel like I can put these in a better sequential order? Maybe when it comes to creating your listings, if you're an arbitrager, maybe you don't, your stuff is in different rooms when you go out and do arbitrage, or maybe it's still in the trunk of the car. And so you say, I'm getting ready to list, and you say, I'm going to list for 1 hour, and you start off the hour by going out to the trunk. No, let's not do that. Let's bring everything in before we even get started. You maybe make a routine around bringing your stuff in. And maybe when you bring the stuff in, you take 5 minutes right then to remove the tags and the stickers and anything else if you have to take pictures. So that way, all that stuff is done. It makes it much faster for you to be able to create the listing if you don't have to stop and clean and whatever. And then maybe there's some other things. Whenever I do retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, I already know potentially what I'm going to sell this item for and how I'm going to ship it. That's part of the listing process. So, of course, most of the time it's in my brain, but that's because I've done it enough times to know, okay, I'm going to ship this way and ship this way. This is my estimated shipping. This is my blah, blah, blah. So that means I'm going to sell it for this price. So again, one of the things that I do is if I'm going out to do retail or online arbitrage and the listing already exists, like on Amazon, I will click on the list button, and when I scan it, type in my price and click on list, so it's added to my back office inventory right then. Or if I am filling the orders myself, then I just click list and I go live with that listing right then. Put it in my cart, move on with life. If it's something I got to take pictures of, I'll probably take a picture while I'm at wherever and try to lay it out as clean as I can and wherever I'm picking it up, because stores have great lighting. The majority of stores, like your Targets, your Walmarts, they all have great lighting. Your Five Below. And so if the listing doesn't exist and I have to create it, I can take a picture of the item, multiple directions, and then use your photo room to clean the background. So at least you have a draft of the listing. Even if you don't like the image, you can always take the picture later, but it may save you time later on. So that's some of the things that I do, so that way I can literally sit down and start listing, like listing versus spending, 30 minutes per listing or an hour per listing. Keyword research, titles, all of that stuff, having some of that preliminarily done. Or if you're sticking with a niche, you probably have your top 5 keywords that you're using for that niche over and over and over again. So again, that streamlines the process. So what is your habit stack? What is your routine around what you're doing in your business? Establishing time blocks for the work that you're going to be doing, whatever that happens to be, the activity, whether it's sourcing, product research, listing, shipping, whatever. Or creating a checklist or to-do list if you don't want to establish time blocks, and making sure that you have SMART goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, or time-bound. So in the weekly planning checklist, there's like a template schedule that I've kind of outlined. You can look at them and kind of get some ideas if you're going to do time blocks or not. You can take all the information that you've gathered from this brain dump, and you're going to format it in such a way that it creates the template of the activities you're going to do. So if listing is your activity, and you're doing it at 1 o'clock every single day, you got a time block for it. Now, as you get to the place where you're creating your actual schedule for next week, in that time block, you know exactly what you're listing. If sourcing is an activity that you have a time block for, then in next week, you know exactly what you're going to be sourcing. So a good example of that is placing your orders for inventory from China. You need to do that in January. Like you need to do that like next week. If it's not on your list of top priorities, you need to be for next week. So if you're sourcing from China, because China has the Chinese New Year for those people that are new sellers. And so you need to know that. So you're going to take that brain dump, you're going to convert it into kind of a plan for each day of the week, and where you're going to invest your time and energy, your personal and your business related stuff. And you're going to test drive that template for a couple of weeks, so that way next week you just come in here and you're going to pull out the template, and then you can prioritize what are the things you're going to do in those windows that you've already defined. When you get to creating your actual schedule for next week, which is step 2 of this process, You want to go and look at the monthly plan and scan to see what your goals were for the month of January, what your income producing goals are, what your operational goals, and your marketing goals. And you need to see where you are on that goals list. How much progress have you made towards those things? Because you're at the halfway mark now. So hopefully some of those goals have been attained, or maybe you're halfway through all of those goals, depending on the type of goal that you wrote. So if you haven't made any progress, that's the thing you got to figure out that you're going to prioritize for next week. So what progress have you made towards your monthly goals? What are the priorities for next week? Maybe the priorities for next week are the monthly goals, or maybe the priorities for next week are something that has to do with your family or your household, or your finances. Maybe next week you're joining a gym or meeting with a personal trainer. Like, you'll figure that out. And so you need to figure out what the priorities are for next week. Also, some of the things that you are working towards are going to be habits that you're working to build to work on that consistency. So when you're establishing habits, they are not just built on a week to week basis. Habits are typically something that you're going to work on. Your weekly habits are going to be something that you work on actually for a month. So it's really more monthly habits that you're saying you're carrying forward into next week. So what are your monthly habits that you're working to build for the month of January that you're going to carry into next week? That's really what that is. And then the last part is plugging in all the what's. What are you going to be listing? If you're doing education, what are you going to be focusing on to learn next week? If you got administrative tasks next week, what are those actual administrative tasks that you're going to focus on next week? So that is what you're going to be doing to build out that plan, that schedule, that routine, so that you can be productive, so that you can make progress, and so you can accomplish your goals for your business and your personal life. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it on your journey as an e-commerce seller. You can tune in for the daily ecom planning session on Monday. Hopefully you've already built a draft of what you're doing for Saturday and Sunday. And with that, I hope this information is helpful. Share it out with a friend. Let somebody else know about the daily ecom planning sessions, also the weekly ecom planning sessions. And we will see you again next week. So my name is Nicole Whitlock, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, get consistent in their business. And if that's you, I'm here for you. You can definitely schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com. Let's put together those plans for 2023. And with that, I hope you have an amazingly blessed, extremely focused, and highly profitable day and productive day. And we're going to say goodbye for now. We're live on Clubhouse if you want to continue the conversation.